Hey everybody, this is Darren Sabedra again, Bay Area News Group, Mercury News, East Bay Times, here with Christian Babcock, Joseph Dycus, and Nathan Canilao. We are heading into week 3 of the high school football season. It's been an interesting first 2 weeks, and I think the season is starting to take a shape that I think some of us expected, because Joseph, we had De La Salle number 1, right, preseason?
Mm-hmm.
And
yes, we did.
After 2 games, De La Salle is still number 1. Joseph and I were both at Owen Owens Stadium. Is that what it's called? Owen Owens Stadium?
Owen
Owens Field, Owen Owens Stadium at De La Salle. I've been there a number of times, and I'm not sure I've called it that in any copy. But anyhow, Sarah, in the first quarter and a half, its line looked very impressive against De La Salle. They were moving them around. They were moving the ball. They were right in the game. Obviously the game turned there at the end of the first half, where Sarah could have taken the lead and, didn't, fumbled inside the 10, and then De La Salle goes 96 yards in the last 30 seconds. Taking a gamble, as you pointed out in your story,
yes.
Coach Allenbaugh gambling against the advice of longtime coach there, Terry Edson. So anyhow, what were your impressions of the Spartans in the second half? Because I'm sure that locker room probably had some cracked paint on the wall after halftime.
Yeah, Sarah's offensive line, I mean, they were controlling the line of scrimmage there in that first half. They were blowing open holes for Chris Yoon and Nanu Latu. Those holes did not exist in the second half. And when Sarah would try to pass the ball, Matthew Johnson, both me and you were like, wow, this guy is on another level from all the other players in De La Salle. And he showed that in that second half. I think he had 2 sacks and multiple pressures, a couple tackles for loss. I mean, they say football's won in the trenches. And if De La Salle can do that to Sarah, then they're going to win a lot of football games.
He's a big guy, isn't he?
He is a big guy.
Johnson. We talked to him in the locker room afterward. Just describe the scene of what that locker room was like being in there post-game.
It was a party. It was probably the exact opposite of what it was like at halftime.
A lot of relief, right?
Yes.
And even though they took momentum going into halftime,
I would even say, you said that Sarah controlled the line of scrimmage for the first quarter and a half. I would say because they fumbled the exchange on the 3-yard line, I believe.
Right.
They were about to score a touchdown. I would say Sarah controlled the line of scrimmage really for the entire first half.
Well, they're going to face a really good St. Francis team on Friday night. Kingston, Kea Naya. Is that correct? Did I pronounce it correctly, Christian?
No,
sort of.
It's Keana Ina, but we'll get
Keana. Well, you saw Kingston on Friday night against McClymonds. We thought it was a record-breaking performance. At least that was what we reported to us late in the evening. Turns out that it was not a record-breaking performance, but still 336 yards and 36 carries, 3 touchdowns. Just your impressions of Kingston. And we told you going into that game that St. Francis has a physical line and plays old-school smash-mouth football, at least on offense. What were your impressions?
Yeah, you weren't lying. I was kind of getting 49ers circa 80s and 90s vibes because they got the SF on their helmets. They were running the ball. They had a quarterback that could sling it around a little bit. But, yeah, that was old school. This is our best player. We're going to give him the ball 40 times, and we're going to live or die with that. And he certainly delivered for him.
What's it going to take for them to move the ball against a De La Salle team that has clearly proven itself in the first 2 weeks?
Well, I think they're going to have to do what Sarah did. They're going to have to control the line of scrimmage, and they have the guys to do that. They have a lot of big guys up front, but they also have to have that separator. I think Kingston's going to have to break up some long runs. I don't know if they can just do 3 or 4 yards at a time. I think they're going to really need to put De La Salle on their heels with some big gains if they're going to win that game.
And Christian, I wanted to ask, what was the St. Francis passing game like? Because if they're going to beat De La Salle, they're going to have to be able to hit them over the top at least once or twice.
Yeah, they didn't need it a whole lot. They tried to sort of work it in, and they had some good plays. But I think it's going to need to be a little more balanced if they're going to win. I think it's in there. I don't know if it'll be enough to get them over the top, but I think they'll be able to break off some good pass plays.
Nathan, in last week's picks, all of us picked Sacred Heart Prep to win the Battle of Sacred Hearts over Sacred Heart Cathedral. I don't think Sacred Heart Cathedral won a game last season. Correct me if I'm wrong, Joseph, but I don't think they did. This year, they're off to a 2-0 start with a very impressive win last week over a Sacred Heart Prep team that's been very good under Mark Grebe for several years now. Your thoughts on Sacred Heart Cathedral and Wilcox going in to Kezar Stadium on Friday night?
Yeah, I really love the matchup. I know, Sacred Heart Cathedral, like you guys said, 0-10 last season. Coming into this season, a little bit more seasoned, and they got a good quarterback. They got a good passing game. It's going to be very interesting how they go up against Wilcox, who loves to run the ball. They love to be physical at the line. I think it makes for a good matchup. I really like, Sacred Heart. We'll get into some picks, but Sacred Heart Cathedral can really surprise some people. They have a really good passing game, a lot of weapons on the outside. I think it goes for a good matchup on Friday.
What I love about this matchup is an old school matchup in a historic stadium on grass, right, Joseph?
Yes, gotta love that Kezar grass.
And I'm sure it'll be cool on Friday night.
Yes.
Bring a jacket, Wilcox fans. Lastly, before we get to our picks, we got St. John Bosco, one of the top teams in the country, coming up to the Bay Area for the first of 2 games against Bay Area powerhouses. They're going to play at Salle on Saturday. Joseph will be covering that game. And then next week, Pittsburg, a team that Nathan's going to see on Friday night against Riordan, will be making the trip to Bellflower down in Southern California to face the Braves. So, Joseph, you got to talk. You were with me when we had the scrum with Coach Patrick Walsh from Salle after the game. What do you think about Coach Walsh's answer when we asked him about scheduling Bosco?
I don't think I've ever had a coach say that they're going to measure success based on how much courage they show in a game. But I've now seen Bosco play in person, and all I got to say is that's a pretty reasonable answer for what they're about to face. I mean, Bosco, last time I checked their roster, they got 300-pounders on the line. They got guys running legit 4.5s on the outside. I think we've said it every year that I've been here. They look like a Mountain West, maybe not a Mountain West team, but pretty close to a Mountain West team. Like, I think they could give Laney College or DVC a decent game. That's how good this Bosco team is.
A lot of talent.
A lot of talent.
How are you going to measure success on Saturday for Sarah?
You know what? I would just maybe sound patronizing. I would like to see them score a touchdown. They in the last 2 open games against Bosco and Modern Day, they haven't scored a single point. I'd like to see them. Hey, let's score. Hey, can you score a touchdown?
Wow, they didn't score a point last game, huh?
No, it wasn't.
Modern Day.
35-0, I think.
Anything else you guys want to add before we get to the picks? Be sure to check us out, mercurynews.com, eastbaytimes.com, and sign up for that digital subscription. That's always important on our end as we look at metrics. But anyhow, anything else you guys want to add before we get to the 15 games this week? You guys good? You guys ready?
I'll say something. But yeah, I think, I wanted to say I was at Monte Vista O'Dowd on Friday, and Hardy Nickerson, he's in his 3rd year now as coach, and he had some rough patches, but he definitely got a signature win on Friday. O'Dowd looks pretty good, and I know we're going to get into that pick with with their game against McClymonds, but looks like could be a really good year for the Dragons.
That was a huge win for the Dragons and Hardy Nickerson. Glad you were there, and glad people from O'Dowd, I assume, read, because that story was well read, and people were subscribing to read that story. So very nice. To San Ramon Valley to play the Wolves, who are 2-0. Opened up last week they beat SoCal, right, 14-7, beat SI in the season opener. Marco Jones and company. I'll start with my pick. I'm taking San Ramon. Lefkow's taking San Ramon. Christian, who you got?
Yeah, I'm taking San Ramon too. Justice talked to Marco Jones after, and it sounded like, they were happy with the win. There was a lot. They felt like they wanted to clean up, and that's kind of a dangerous spot for a team coming in there for SRV to be upset with their performance after a win. So I'm going SRV on this one.
Nathan?
Yeah, I'm gonna go with SRV. I think they're, like Christian said, I mean, Marco was it, he wanted better execution from his team, and I think going into this matchup, I think they'll do that.
Joseph?
We're going to give Clayton Valley plenty of bulletin board material because I'm going Ceremon Valley too. CVC looked better in their game against College Park, but SRV's on a different level.
Next game on the list, Hayward at Tennyson, the Battle of Hayward here. Hayward coming in at 1-1, and Tennyson also 1-1. I'll let you go first, Nathan, and we'll work our way around.
Yeah, I'm going to take Hayward in this one. Coach Virgil Hart, I know they lost his last game against Windsor. He wasn't too happy from the exchanges I had over text with him. I think they bounce back and they get this one in a city matchup.
Joseph?
Yeah, I'm going to go Hayward as well, although I think it'll be a close game that might be decided on the last drive.
Christian?
Yeah, I'm going to go with Hayward too. I think they might have a little more offensive explosiveness. They put up 42 points in their win, so I think that's going to carry them in this one.
It looks like another clean sweep because Lefkow and I also are going with Hayward. So 5 for Hayward and 0 for Tennyson. Next on the list is Dublin. Will be at home to play Heritage. 0-2 Dublin is under Coach Napoleon Kaufman. They'll be playing Heritage, which is coming off a win, I believe, against Nathan's alma mater, right?
Yep. Yes, they are.
Granada last week. So Heritage coming in with a little bit of momentum at 1-1. Let Joseph go first.
I'm going with Heritage. I think it's going to take another week for Napoleon Kaufman to get his first win.
Christian?
Yeah, I'm going Heritage too. They played Foothill real tough. They lost by 1 point, and they beat Granada. They got a little momentum, so I'm going with Heritage.
All right. I'm going with Heritage too. Nathan?
I'm taking Heritage. I think there's two teams that are going in different directions. I know Dublin's starting 0-2. Heritage just got a really big win, so I'm going to go with Heritage.
And Lefkow also Heritage. Man, we're all on the same page. We did not compare notes beforehand, but we're all on the same page. All 5 of us going with Heritage. Next on the list, I know we're going different directions here because Lefkow and I picked different winners. So we've got Windsor at 2-0. Really good team from the North Bay traveling down to face Campo Lindo at 1-1. If this were late in the season, I would probably take Campo. I still think Campo's trying to iron out some kinks. They had a tight game last week against Northgate, ultimately prevailed. I'm going Windsor in this one, and Lefkow is going with Campo. Nathan, who you got?
I'm taking Windsor. I think Campo was a little shaky against Northgate, so I'm going to take Windsor in this one.
Joseph?
I'm going to take Campo. I believe Campo led with a 21-0 going in the fourth quarter, and then they kind of let Northgate back in the game. I think Campo is probably better than what the final score of that Northgate game showed. Give me Campo.
Christian?
Yeah, I'm going to go Campo Lindo too. I think being at home is going to make a difference, and I think maybe this is the week they start to turn the corner a little bit.
All right, game 5 on the list is Christopher at Palo Alto. One of the games in our new poll. We're not sure if we're going to cover it or not. Right now, it looks like one of the games we'll be at will be Santa Teresa against Pioneer. I believe that's at Santa Teresa. That is leading the poll that goes up until Wednesday at 5 o'clock. The matchup that has the most votes will be the one that we're going to send a reporter to. But Christopher at Palo Alto, both these teams were in CCF championship games last year, right? Mm-hmm. Palo Alto in Division 4 and Christopher Division 2, I believe, where they lost to, I believe, SoCal.
Yep.
So Palo Alto's at home, has looked impressive through 2 weeks. I'm taking Pally to win this one. And Lefkow's also taking Pally. Christian, who you got?
Yeah, I'm going to go with Palo Alto. I think Christopher has looked solid so far, but Palo Alto has just been pretty good all around, and I think they're going to take this one at home.
Speaking of Christopher, how would you guys feel? And I'll ask on air here. How would you feel about a guest picker next week or the week after? Former Christopher coach Darren Yaffe, who has reached out to me and is like, "Hey, if you guys want a guest picker?"
That sounds fun. We could do a college game day.
We would love it. Yes. So anyhow, So I'm taking Pally. Christian's taking Pally. Lefkow's taking Pally. Nathan, who you got?
Yeah, I'm taking Pally. I think Jeremiah Fung and the rest of that offense is really explosive. So I'm going to take Pally also.
Joseph?
Yeah, I'm sorry to disappoint our future guest picker, but I think it's going to be a Pally sweep.
All right. Next one on the list is South San Francisco at home. South San Francisco won a CCS title last year, right?
Mhm.
Division 5?
Yes.
You're going to be at home to face a 2-0 Lee team. South San Francisco's at 1-1. Joseph, I'll let you go first.
I think it's going to be. I think South San Francisco being at home, that's a good home field advantage for them, and it might be a pretty short game because both those teams run the ball.
So you're taking South San Francisco.
Yes.
Christian?
I'm going to go with Lee. I think they have the quality to take the show on the road and win this one.
Nathan?
I'm also going to go Lee. I think they're going to win this one pretty big.
I think Lee's the better team here. I'm also taking Lee, and Lefkow is taking Lee too. So 4-1 in favor of Lee on in game 6 of the 15 we're picking. Game 7, I believe, Christian, you're going to be at this game, Foothill College in Los Altos Hills, the home field of the Mitty Monarchs when they play under the lights. So they'll be at home to play Menlo-Atherton. Both teams 2-0. Mitty is also a team that coming off a rough year and has looked pretty impressive in their first 2 games, routing James Logan and I believe Aptos last week. This is going to be a good game. I'm taking Mitty, but it's a toss up. But I'm taking Mitty. Nathan, who you got?
I also think it's a toss-up, but I'm going to go the other way. I'm going to take Menlo-Atherton. I think their offense has just been really well-oiled machine for the last 2 games, so I'm going to take MA.
Joseph?
I'm going to take MA too, but actually I'm going to take it because I think their defense has been pretty exceptional these last 2 weeks against Monterey and Bellarmine.
Christian?
Yeah, I'm going to go Menlo-Atherton. I think they have the slight edge, but this should be a really competitive game. I'm looking forward to covering it.
And Lefkow's going MA, so 4 for MA, and I'm the lone one taking Mitty. Last week, some of us got burned by taking Milpitas over Santa Teresa. They're going to be at home, and so far leading that poll that I mentioned earlier in the show. They're going to be at home to play Pioneer. Pioneer's at 1-1, and Santa Teresa 2-0. I'm not going to make the same mistake twice. I'm taking Santa Teresa to win this game.
Yes, sir, you did.
Oh, my bad. I think I froze. Did you hear my pick?
Santa Teresa.
Yes, Santa Teresa.
Yeah,
Christian,
I'm rolling
who do you
with
got?
Santa Teresa. They were unhappy. Well, I don't know. They're happy or unhappy depending on how you look at it. That you and Lefkow picked against them last week. So we'll see how happy or unhappy they are that you're on their side this week.
Lefkow figured that they were going to be unhappy because Coach Pappin always lets us know when we don't pick them.
Right.
Yeah.
So I gotta love Coach Pappin. Nathan, who do you
I'm
have?
going to take Santa Teresa and that new boombox. I think they'll get this one here.
There you go. Don't know what Nathan's talking about? Check out our Monday Morning Lights column and you'll read all about it. Joseph, what do you got?
Got to go with Santa Teresa too.
All right. It is a clean sweep for the Saints over the Pioneer Mustangs. I think it's going to be competitive, but we'll see. This game we talked about earlier in the show, we have Wilcox making the trip to San Francisco to face Sacred Heart Cathedral, one of the surprise teams so far in this early season. I like Wilcox's ground game. I think after 2 games that it should be more of an oiled machine than it was against Valley Christian in week 1. I'm going to take Wilcox in a very close game. Wilcox to win in San Francisco. Nathan, who do you have?
I also have Wilcox. I like their physicalness up front. I think they'll get this game.
Joseph.
I'm actually going to go with the Sacred Heart Cathedral. I think they've got some momentum. Maybe it's a team of destiny type year, and I think they want to close one in at Kezar.
Christian.
Yeah, I'm buying Sacred Heart Cathedral too. I think they're for real. I mean, the dominance. I mean, there were some odd plays that happened last week. It sounded like against Prep, But just to, take care of an established team like that and the way they did, and they're at home this week, I think I got to go with Cathedral this time.
Cathedral, and Lefkow's also got Cathedral. So 3 for Cathedral, 2 for Wilcox. This next one on the list, I believe Justice De Los Santos is going to be at this game. The Battle of Oakland. I mean, Mac has dominated Oakland, the OAL. Last year, they renewed their series with Bishop O'Dowd and won 45-0.
Yes.
But I think this is a little bit different Bishop O'Dowd team that they'll be facing on Friday night than the one that made the trip to the Mac House last year. O'Dowd's going to be at home. I'm not going to start this one off. I'm going to start it off with our Mr. Oakland, Joseph Dycus.
Wearing my Oakland shirt. I am going to take McClymonds. I get that they're 0-2, but they were competitive with St. Francis and Mountain View until pretty late in the game, and then obviously they had Riordan on the ropes. I think O'Dowd is having a good year, but I think Mac is still just a little bit better.
You also got to think that Coach Peters is going to have them fired up to play O'Dowd, right?
Oh, absolutely.
Christian, who do you have? I mean, is there any doubt that Mac is going to be fired up for this one?
There is no doubt. I went back and forth on this a few times, but I'm going to go with O'Dowd because, in part, Burrell Staples really took a pounding last week, especially late in the game against St. Francis. He had to leave the game, and it sounds like, he's going to try to play. And, having a week of rest, I don't think there was any major structural damage, but that's 2 weeks in a row now. He's gone up against teams that, will have pushed him to the limit physically. I just think it's going to be tough for them to turn around and play, another solid team and come out on top. But I'm sure whoever's out there in whatever capacity, they're going to give it their all. So it should be a good game.
This should be a good game. Nathan, who do you have?
Yeah, I went back and forth with this one, but I'm going to go with O'Dowd. I just believe I'm just buying all the Hardy Nickerson stock right now. I think they're on a roll and they believe in themselves. I think they believe that no one else does. So I'm going to go with O'Dowd.
I'm going Mac. I know Coach Peters. I know what kind of coach he is, how much of a motivator he is, and I think of all the games on their schedule, this is the one they don't want to lose. Right. And Lefkow's also taking Mac. So what do we have? 3 for Mac, 2 for O'Dowd. All right. This next one on the list, Nathan, you're going to be here. It's going to be at Pitt Stadium, Pirate Stadium, where Pittsburg is going to take on Riordan. Riordan coming off a loss to St. Bonaventure Ventura down in Ventura last weekend. Pittsburgh's been rolling right along as expected, 2-0. A lot of college talent on the field in this one. I've taken Riordan the first 2 weeks. I'm not taking Riordan this week. I'm taking Pittsburgh. I'll let you go next, Joseph, and we'll work our way around.
I am going to go Pittsburgh too. I wish I could say this is going to be one of those 49-42 games, but I think Pittsburgh's defense is too good to give up that many points. So I think Pittsburgh wins by maybe 10.
Nathan.
Yeah, what I really love about this matchup is going to be the battle in the trenches. That both teams have Division I talent on both the offensive and defensive lines. But I'm going to take Pittsburgh. I think I just have a little bit more trust in their defense to stop Riordan's offense. And just like Joseph said, I think it'll be low scoring, something around 17-14. Pittsburgh win.
I think it's going to be a little higher scoring than that, but we'll see. Well, at least, yeah, I think it's going to be a little higher scoring. Christian, who do you got?
Yeah, I'm going Pitt, but I mean, this should be a really interesting game to watch. You got 2 really good quarterbacks, really good skill talent, really good lines. So it should be a great game, but I think Pittsburgh's going to come out on top.
Okay, it's a clean sweep for Pittsburgh because Lefkow also has taken the Pirates. Game 12 on the list will be in Concord. I believe, Joseph, you're going to be there at De La Salle on Friday night, where the #1 ranked team in the Bay Area News Group Top 25, the De La Salle Spartans, 2-0. Very impressive scores. I mean, 42 to 14 over Grant and 39-10 over Sarah. They're going to be at home to play St. Francis, which De La Salle has handled multiple times in this long running series. They play every season now, but St. Francis still has that one that we're all going to remember when they ended De La Salle's 300 and whatever unbeaten streak in against NorCal opponents. That was back in 2021, I believe. So I am going to go De La Salle. I think the Spartans are going to go to 3-0. They're going to handle Mr. Kingston. Will he get 100? He might get 100 yards. That line is pretty good at St. Francis, but I just think the Spartans, we were talking about this, Joseph, their backfield, they can substitute guys and have no drop off.
Oh, they've got four running backs between Jefferson, Jones, Drew, Kelly, and Blanche they're all different, but they're interchangeable. There is very little drop off.
And they're all capable of breaking long runs.
And then Toafave is essentially a breakaway back playing quarterback.
Right. Exactly. So there is a lot to focus on when you're on defense playing against De La Salle. So I'm taking the Spartans. Nathan, who you got?
I'm taking De La Salle. I think very similar styles, but I think the 4 running backs are going to be the difference. This game might be done in an hour the way these teams run the ball.
Are you there?
We are there. Yes.
Yep.
Joseph, who do you got?
You know what? If I wasn't covering this game, I'd probably go the other way, but I saw what Sarah's offensive line did in that first half, and Sarah's running backs are talented, but Kingston, Kianaya is a different level. You know what? I'm gonna go with St. Francis. I think they execute the strategy that Sarah was trying to do in that first half, and they do it a little bit better. And they've got the offensive line to play with De La Salle. Am I super confident in this pick? No, but hey, that's what the show's for.
Are you going to quote yourself in this write-up?
No, I'm not going to quote myself in this
Please
write-up.
quote yourself. We need you quoted in there.
Okay.
This is what I said on the show.
Okay.
Christian, who do you have?
Yeah, well, I think Joseph's just trying to be controversial, as Draymond Green would say. But yeah, I think De La Salle is going to win this one. I mean, St. Francis is a really good team, but I kind of like we talked about, I think they're going to need explosiveness through the air. And I mean, Kingston's bound to be somewhat tired. I think he'll have a good performance, but he might have to put up, 300, 350 again for them to win this game. And I don't see that happening.
I don't see that happening either. All right. So how many? So 4-1, because Lefkow also took De La Salle. So
Yep.
4-1. 3 more games on the list. We'll go with SI at Cathedral San Diego. We've seen Cathedral San Diego at state game a couple of years ago. They're pretty good. Good program. They're 3-0, and I think they're going to go to 4-0. I'm taking Cathedral to win this game. Nathan, who do you have?
I also have Cathedral. I think this will be quite seamless for them. They're a good program down in SoCal.
Joseph.
Yeah, I'm going Cathedral as well. That's a long trip for St. Ignatius.
Christian.
I'm going to go with Cathedral, and I want to know how many high schools there are in the state of California named Cathedral, because we already have 2 now. So
Lefkow's going Cathedral. It's a clean sweep for the San Diego school. 2 more games on our list. Half Moon Bay, which I picked, I believe, to win last week against Hillsdale. I think I was the only one who did that. But anyhow, Half Moon Bay is 2-0. They're traveling to Atherton to face Sacred Heart Prep in an afternoon game on Saturday. Nathan, who do you have?
If this game was at Half Moon Bay, I would take them, but since they got to go on the road, I'm going to take Sacred Heart Prep.
Joseph.
I am going to take Half Moon Bay. And this game, like Nathan said with the St. Francis De La Salle game, the way these 2 teams run the ball, this game may be over an hour and a half.
Christian.
I'm going to go with Sacred Heart Prep. Texting back and forth with Mark Grebe after their game. They did not seem happy, understandably, with how things went against Sacred Heart Cathedral. And I think this is a spot they're going to play very well in.
Lefkow's taking Sacred Heart Prep. I am with Joseph. I think Half Moon Bay had a down year last year by its standards. I think this season they're back to playing at a much higher level. And I think Half Moon Bay will win a very close game because when these two teams are good, the games are really tight. And I expect to see something similar on Saturday. Last game on the list.
What did a Lefkow pick?
Oh, excuse me. Lefkow took Sacred Heart Prep.
Got it.
So how many for Sacred Heart Prep? 3?
3-2.
All right. Last one on the list. I'd be shocked if it's 5. If it's not 5-0. We got St. John Bosco, one of the top teams, one of the top programs in all of America, making the trip to San Mateo to face the Serra Padres, who are kind of licking their wounds a little bit after a 39-10 loss last week at De La Salle to fall to 1-1. So the high of winning at Folsom, which Nathan saw, to a second half that De La Salle outclassed the Padres there in Concord last week. I hear St. John Bosco's a young team, reading Eric Sondheimer's quotes, but I think their young talent is probably a bunch of 4 and 5 stars, I'm guessing. So I'm going to go St. John Bosco. Will the Spartans score? I think that was raised by Joseph during the early part of the show. Oh, man. Yeah, they're going to score. I think they might score in the first quarter. It might not be a touchdown, but I think this is Brody Smith, the one who kicked the winning field goal against Folsom. I think he will kick a field goal in the first quarter for the Padres, but I don't think they'll get shut out, but I think they're going to lose convincingly. So, Joseph, I'll let you go next.
Yeah, if this was a state championship game, I'd probably go with Serra just based off principle. But this is a regular season game, and yeah, St. John Bosco by probably whatever score they want it to be.
Oh, man. Christian.
Are we going to doubt those Serra Padres again?
Yes.
Okay. Yeah. No, I'm not going to get too controversial on this one. I think Bosco's going to win. Yeah, I think you're right, Darren. I think Serra, has the opportunity to score maybe early in this game. And I think, as much as football coaches hate to talk about moral victories, if you're trying to grow a young team, you might as well throw them out there against the best. And obviously, hopefully no one gets hurt. But there are a lot of lessons that can be learned from facing a team like that.
Definitely. Nathan.
Yeah, I hate to make it a clean sweep for 3 straight weeks, but I'm going to go with Bosco here. There's too much talent on the other side, and I'm personally not sure if Serra can get into the end zone or even put up a point. So we'll see what happens.
So you're not thinking a field goal?
I don't know if they'll get there. I don't think so. I think it might be another 0.
You're doubting those Serra Padres.
Yeah, I am. Yeah.
And I still, I didn't pick them to beat Folsom, nor did I pick them to beat De La Salle. I still think they're going to be very strong in the WCAL, and I would not be shocked if Serra runs the table in the WCAL to go to which would be 8-2. Which with that schedule, they go 8-2 with this young team. I mean, Coach Walsh would be up for Coach of the Year if they do that.
Yes.
So, that's the last game on the list. Joseph, you want
to Lefty picked
he took Bosco.
Yeah, hey, with Lefty, sometimes it'd be like, he might just go with the local team.
No, not in this case. He's trying to make up ground. Speaking of making up ground, I want you to tell us how we did last week, Joseph.
All right, so last week, after having an incredible 14-1 week 1, Nathan came in dead last, 6-9. Myself, Lefty, and Christian all went 8-7, and then Darren, you were the best of a mediocre bunch at 9-6. We did not have a good week. That means Darren is now number 1 in the standings at 21-9, followed by Nathan, Christian, Lefty, and then myself, all separated by 1 game.
Wow. It's tight.
It is tight. It looks like the wild card standings for the National League.
Tight. Anything else you guys want to add before we wrap up?
We're starting to do our athletes of the week again. Boys and girls, athletic directors, coaches for any sport sponsored by the CIF. Send in your nominations by 11 a.m. on Mondays, and we'll get your athletes in there.
Great. Do we want to have people send in a nomination for a game to cover?
You know what? We will always we love hearing from our readers. So if they want to nominate a game, we can't guarantee that it's going to be covered, but we'd love to hear what you guys think.
Check us out, mercurynews.com, eastbaytimes.com. Sign up for a digital subscription. Check out our coverage all week long. Something fresh every day, capped off by a lot of content on the weekends. So we're going to wrap it up. That's a wrap for week 3 of the 2024 high school season.